Hey folks, if you watched that video that I did on our mobile chicken cage, in it was the hanging chicken water. So in this video we're going to go through how we build one of these things. Now what we need, well, we don't necessarily need this chain. You can use cord, rope, or whatever, but this is 10 feet of just the single jack chain that we'll take a look at. That's about $4, $4 bucks. And then what I ended up making this last one with is a 3-gallon galvanized steel pan, made in USA. Now I've used other things. In the past I used just an oil pan, an oil drain pan. This one's from the dollar store for $1. They're not, they work, but if you want something a little sturdier and a little more capacity, a little more room, these are really nice. And actually this one was about $5 again, so I think that's pretty reasonable for something made in the States, a good quality galvanized pan. And then what I used to support the float valve, I've used different things over the years too. I've used plexiglass, I've used polyethylene, which is really reactive in the heat. It buckles and moves. I've used I don't know if I used plywood even once. But anyways, I've found that this strapping, this metal strapping that you get when you go in the building supply store and you go to where they have the joist hangers and all those different connectors for building decks and things, they have different lengths of this strapping. And this is an 18-inch piece. And the nice thing about this, besides being $1.59 and pretty sturdy, is that it already has holes pre-drilled in them. Because the other thing you need, the critical part of these self-watering waterers, mobile waterers, is an adjustable mini float valve. Now we have these available on our website. You can certainly get them online on Amazon or through US Plastics or different companies. They carry these, but it needs to be the adjustable one because it hangs like that. You know, you could probably get away with mounting something in the side, but this is by far the easiest way to go about doing it. Hang it from above. And then the 1/4-inch barb fitting is the slickest way to go, I think, because then we can use our 1/4-inch tubing, which is another product that we carry. Starting to sound like an infomercial. So the other thing you need is a length of vinyl tubing. It needs to be black, so you don't get, you know, algae growing in it and such. So for our cage design, from the water to the reservoir on top is about 40 inches or so. So, you know, like a 4-foot length of vinyl tubing. And then the last thing you need is a 3/8-inch silicone grommet. Another item that we supply, and another item that you certainly can find other places too. But that's what goes in the bucket. Now what I don't have right here is a bucket, but all you need to do is drill a 9/16 hole, and I have plenty of videos showing how to drill 9/16-inch holes in buckets. Just use a spade bit, one that doesn't wobble. Install that grommet, slip your vinyl tubing in there, and remember that your bucket on top of the cage needs to have a lid. So let's assemble this. It's the next day. The battery kind of died on me, so I had to quit, and then the sun came out today and it's really windy, so I just moved the operation into the workshop here to finish it off. So quickly, what I did, this strapping, the material's thin enough that it can be cut with a tin snip. So this is all I cut off, that 18-inch piece. So that, and then I beveled the corners so they're not quite so sharp, so that it would span the pan like this. And then I drilled one hole, an 1/8 inch hole, and I stuck an 1/8 inch by 1/4 inch rivet in there so I can pivot that thing. And then what I did is I measured on each side, and it came to 8 5/8 on each side so I could find the center for this. And then once I had it centered, I drilled 2 more holes here to put 2 more 1/8 inch rivets in. And then I can stick one in there now just to keep it from moving. And then what I did is I just took a speed square. I found the center of this, and this pan is 16 1/2 inches from rim to rim. So I just measured in 8 1/4, and then I could just lay my speed square on that, and then I just, since it doesn't reach the edge, then I just used a straight edge. And with that straight edge, I just marked on each side. So as good as I can get it, I think I got it pretty well evenly spaced. So when this thing hangs by 4 chain lengths, it should hang flat. Now, someone better at physics than me could probably explain why maybe 3 chains would be, like a tripod, would be simpler and more stable, but I have a little more trouble finding an equidistant the part to put 3. So anyways, I did 4. So I cut, or I didn't cut, I just open a chain length using a just a needle nose plier, and I got 4 equal lengths of chain. Each length in my case is about 19 inches, and then I just used the needle nose pliers. The nice thing about working with this chain is you can just open up a link and take them apart and then close them back up again. So I'm going to pop those rivets in. Working with this metal, then I don't have to mess with using a washer. So that's secure. Now I drilled 2 1/8 inch holes on each side to hang the chain, but then we're going to install our float valve, and since this hole that comes already pre-drilled in that, it's bigger than the 7/16 hole that's necessary to put in the float valve. So I just stick a washer on top before I secure it with the nut. Just like that. Now we can adjust that once we get water in there. There's no need for the float valve to be in the center of this thing. It really doesn't add that much to the weight. Once this gets filled with water, the weight of the float valve is really kind of negligible for keeping it straight. So now we're just going to take the lengths of chain. Oh, I drilled an 1/8 inch hole in the center of the strapping on each side, too, and then we're going to just open up the link and put that chain, let's see what's a better, get that chain down in underneath, and then I'll just close up that loop like so. So you just close it up underneath. So we just close that loop back up just so that the chain can pull through. So now once we have that secured through all 4 holes, I just use just a key ring as my center ring, and then I'll just cinch those hooks back closed again. On all 4. And then that little bit of chain that's left over, since it's 10 feet, that was in the package, we're just going to use that. However much we need to hang it to just an eye screw on that ridge of the cage. So there we have a hanging water. Now all we need to do then is when we go out, we'll just attach our tubing like so, and then we'll find out how long that needs to be in order to reach the bucket with the grommet in it. So we'll go back out and take another look at the cage and see the one that's in there right now to give you an idea of how it's going to look when it's finished. Hey, I told you it was bright and sunny out. So here we are with the installed automatic chicken water. And the tank that fills it. So this is just as I said before, this is just a 3.5 gallon bucket I got for $1, and used a 9/16 inch bit and installed a 3/8 inch silicone grommet. Cut the 1/4 inch tubing to length, and then I made myself a support, and that's just out of that PVC trim board. So I just screwed it to the ridge with a couple of wood screws, and then I just made brackets on the side that have the same arc as the bucket that just holds it in place. The bucket isn't screwed down at all, it just sits there, but it doesn't move at all. So this cage moves nice and easy. Oops, sorry guys. And then the water just moves with the cage. So any irregularities in the ground don't matter. The water is always level. Gone are the days of lifting a water in and out of the cage and blocking it up to secure it. We don't have a speck of level land on this property. So the days when we used to do that, they were a pain, lifting it in and out every time we move the cage. And now when the chickens get this size, we sometimes move this cage 4 times a day. Just every time we walk by, just pull it a length and give them some fresh grass. If we had to lift the water in and out, it wouldn't be as much fun to do that. So there you have it, the automated chicken water. If you like this kind of thing, please subscribe, and we're going to keep making videos like this and try to build an audience, and we'll grow together.